Hi everybody, welcome to Social Food Network. I'm here in Ilkley outside Piccolino's restaurant. Something a little different for you today. I'm going to be speaking to Iain, who's the general manager here, about all things Covid. Video and she's like smiling like, I can't, I'm noise. Can you not pick
time to give you knives?
Yeah, exactly. Can you not pick a better time for this? So this is the fun stuff you need to be filming though. Otherwise it gets a bit boring, doesn't it?
So I've been working probably with hospitality for would have been about my 11th year now.
Right, okay.
And this is my second stint actually with individual restaurants. So I came back to Piccolino about a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And about 8 years in total with the brand. So
cool. Because I remember I used to obviously come here sort of most Saturday nights when we were working in Ilkley as well. It's a great atmosphere up here, especially on a Saturday night with the live DJs and the drinkers and the last few people dining.
So I think for me, I kind of grew up here as a manager, so I've got a certain fondness for the area anyway. But when I initially started here, none of what you can see actually existed. So I've been here to see, the outside terrace itself be built, and the weatherproof kind of canopies and stuff like that was a really exciting project. But this was actually my first post as a general manager, so for what I learned for this place, I'm really grateful, and it's kind of nice to come back with a bit of experience behind it as well, and see what I've learned and see what's different. So
yeah, I mean, like I say, it is stunning. And how do you get on with the staff here and the people of Ilkley? Have you learnt Italian? Have you picked up bits?
Yeah, so
can you give us some?
I certainly won't do that today, but certainly for us as a restaurant group, we want to work with Italians because they are so passionate about the food and the produce and certainly where it comes from. So to tie all that into a restaurant dining experience is cool.
Do they ever say, that's not how my mum used to make it?
I mean, it does happen. It does happen in-house every now and then, and I think even if you go town for town, maybe putting in a different herb.
It's the biggest one, chorizo in a paella. Yeah, but it's really good.
Sounds fantastic. Yeah,
it's fantastic. So okay, how did you sort of fall into hospitality? Did you do anything before hospitality? Was you a car salesman or anything like that?
I wasn't a car salesman, so I went to university to study economics.
Right, okay.
I all started, and kind of like anybody else, I guess, started working for money. And it's kind of one of them things where there's no simple answer for it, but the hospitality sector is incredibly exciting. There's a lot of amazing things going on there, and I think I probably did my career backwards in that respect a little bit. But it's so fast paced, it's incredible.
It's
amazing. It's amazing. It's so rewarding in incredibly different ways.
For me, I've always found Piccolino's as that kind of place in Ilkley that's it's quite iconic in the town. It's there. It's prominent on the high street. It's probably the best location. I mean, how do you find working in Ilkley and the people? And
it can be challenging at times. I think we've got a very well educated clientele in terms of food and drink and stuff like that. So there's no margin for error. But I think the challenge is the exciting thing. The one thing it certainly does boast is that kind of community feel. I enjoy the aspect of that kind of almost kind of small town, everybody together, where you give the opportunity to, I guess, spend a bit more time and achieve them things. Like you said, we've been standing in the town for a long time, so the amount of birthdays, anniversaries, celebrations that we've had together over that decade.
People shared all this with you,
and they've shared it all with us, and it's a feather in our cap, which is a great thing that we can share their moments with them as well. Okay, so
for me, this whole thing is about COVID, how it's going to have shaped the industry.
Yeah.
What have you been doing during COVID as Piccolino's kind of set a standard out of how they're going to talk to the customers, if they kept sort of in touch with them?
I think we've tried to have as much contact with our guests as we can do. We've got our own mailing system, we've got our own app, obviously we've got social media, so there's been big communications on that side. I think we've done huge amounts towards the NHS, really trying to distribute and help amongst them, which has been a message there. We've also created a little kind of cook our own dishes at home kind of thing.
Nice.
So we've been sharing recipes for our cocktails, our food, them sort of things. But now you can also buy from our central office, maybe your favourite dish from Piccolino. So if you wanted to buy some pizzas coming in, for example, we've done our best to get that kind of authentic feel in your house. And I guess now it's kind of through that process and obviously 3 months on, we're now focusing a lot of effort on comes next, I think. So that communication is still quite regular for those that want and need it. I think so as well. I mean, I'm sure all the cook at home things haven't gone exactly to plan as well. So maybe if there's been a disaster in a kitchen or two, there will be certainly more appreciation for what we do on a day-to-day basis. But I think it's really, really kind of key for us to make sure that we continue that communication, going back to what it said. Think kind of how we get in the future steps of it, I guess.
Yeah, no, perfect. And how have you personally spent your time? You know, what have you been doing?
I've just been ticking the list that everyone else has done, to be honest. I think I've spent a lot of time cooking. Certainly in the early days, I've been trying to just protect myself and my family, rekindled a bit of love for board games.
Really?
So yeah, Monopoly's king at our house at the moment.
A bit of Monopoly, chess, Monopoly. Finally got my wife got Peaky Blinders, which is thought I'd never would happen, but she's enjoyed it. So
apart from the fact I don't understand half.
You don't understand from it.
I have to have subtitles on.
There's been a few DIY projects that I probably wouldn't have achieved otherwise as well. So, but yeah,
have they worked out?
Mostly, yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, I think I might have found a new skill. So yeah, it's been okay.
So that's sort of during COVID. I mean, it's been tough, and obviously the industry has been kind of turned upside down. There's been people doing great stuff. A lot of restaurants doing stuff for the NHS and takeaways, and there's a lot of people that are trying to do what's best for their business. How do we come out of this? How do we open with a bang? I mean, what's the plan of you guys, Piccolinos, to open with a?
Well, I think our plan to open is, just needs to be perfect to start with, I guess. I think the initiatives that everybody's going to see in place, there will be PPE on our staff. There will be increased measures in cleaning. Our restaurant, we've removed an awful lot of tables.
Yeah.
There'll be little sanitisers on every single table, for example. At the moment we're working through thermal imaging to understand that all of our staff are at the right temperature, even guests maybe, to understand that there's no inflated risk of that virus coming to us, I guess. We're going to operate as a restaurant fundamentally. That drinking aspect's going to not be there to start with. So, we're going to do everything that we can in our basis to make sure that we can continue doing things that we love, but just slightly differently, I guess. But I'm sure, like anything that's a brand new virus, there's going to be learning curves along the journey. So it's just a case of managing the best we can do that as senior managers, and passing that down through our entire team to make sure that everybody is as safe as possible, I guess. So.
And where does the industry go from here? How does it sort of get back to where it was before?
I'm not sure if there is an easy answer for that. I think confidence is key in that basis. I think the opportunity again to have what you want and what you desire and what you're missing. I think the industry's got a life in that. I think we'll love to eat and drink, and that will never go away, and that will never change. And the same reason that everybody's become a home chef and a home baker, I'm sure they're just as eager to get back in a restaurant and have the experts do it for them. So it's just a case of no washing up. Big key, no washing up.
Dishwasher's been on 3 times a day. Yeah. And obviously we talked about safety, and how is it important to you to keep staff and the customers safe then?
I think going forward it's paramount, isn't it? It's the main focus of everything. So I think, I don't know if I'm quoting Boris here, but 3 months hard work's probably already done, and I think to throw it away is completely pointless. I do see a way that we can continue doing things that we used to and doing it in a safe manner. But the PPE and the social distancing will remain for us for that reason. I think to have confidence to start getting back in and dining in restaurants, you're going to need to understand that it's a safe environment first and foremost.
So customers looking at sort of new look Piccolinos for the short term then, the whole sort of...
Yeah, definitely. I think short, medium term, as long as necessary really. I think you know, you'll see a lot more space, you'll see a lot more control in the way the restaurant's run. You know, there's a few things like you can order on your app at the table without touching a menu, without conversing maybe with a waiter.
It's a really good idea.
Just to make yourself feel a bit more comfortable. You can also launch, we're launching, the click and collect option. So if you want one of your favourite dishes but you're not feeling fully comfortable about going and dining in a restaurant yet, you can have your favourite dishes at home.
The big question is, can we turn it around?
Absolutely, yes. You know, absolutely, yes. I think it will be slightly different to start with, you know, maybe it'll be slightly different forever, but you know, the activity of dining in restaurants will continue. And I think we can do that successfully as a business. I think we can do that successfully for our staff and for our customers. And I think for sure it exists out in general.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate that. I believe you're going to make a drink for us.
Yeah.
So what are you making for us today?
So we're going to make a white Negroni. So it's a slightly different twist on your classic. So for those that find it a little bit bitter maybe, or for me it's perfect in the summer months. So yeah.
Amazing. Lovely. Well, let's do that then.
Today we're going to make a white Negroni. Nice and simple. 3 key spirits. And we'll start with our aperitifs or our vermouths. So I've chosen these two. This is classically what you might see in a Vespa Martini now. It's actually interestingly very, very similar to what Lillet Blanc was in the past, which was called Quina Lillet. So fundamentally they are both vermouths, so produced from grapes, fortified wine, but they've got incredibly different flavour profile. Lastly we're going to choose Mason's Gin, made obviously locally in North Yorkshire, and you get kind of almost a cardamom flavour to it, obviously juniper being the predominant flavour. It's a little bit of coriander, so herbaceous all the way through, a little bit of sweet. So we're going to put in equal measures of each. So we're going to go for 30 ml of each spirit. So what you want to do with this, you want to pack it with loads of ice. And the reason behind that, realistically we're not shaking it, is because you've got more control over the temperature. And we're going to do to this drink basically what you would do to maybe like a standard glass of whiskey. So by getting a little bit of water in there, what you do is you lengthen everything. Got good control over the temperature of the drink, but we just want to dilute it a little bit, and that really helps kind of stretch out the drink and helps you taste the individual elements of what you've got in there. It's a perfect method, they say turn it 21 times each way. Every bartender's got their own perfect thing, but it should give you about a basis to have there or thereabouts your perfect drink. So have a little taste. If it's just for you, no problem. And for me that tastes fantastic. So
simple as that, eh?
What's that?
As simple as that.
Simple as that, yeah. So you'll find a Negroni on any Italian menu really. It's an absolute staple of kind of what we do. And it's just a kind of perfect balance of bitter-sweet, I guess. So, and lastly, just to finish it, to pick up on the citrus notes, you just want a little bit of orange zest. Twist and manipulate it a bit to get them oils on the glass, get them on the ice. And that for me is my perfect white Negroni.
Well, I better try it then, haven't I?
It's delicious, yeah, it's really good. It's one thing you could drink all day, every day.
Wow, yeah, like I say, perfect for a hot, sunny day.
Yeah.
Amazing.